Well, that was funny. For the 5 minutes it was allowed to exist. So, just in case you haven't been paying attention on Twitter lately, and you're wondering why Shrek, Monkey D. Luffy, and SpongeBob SquarePants are ramming planes into the World Trade Center, well, the answer is, as it seemingly always is these days, AI. Of course, since you see, Microsoft elected to introduce a AI image generator, which I think used DALL-E, I believe, into their not particularly popular internet search engine, assuming that this would bring some notoriety and attention to aforementioned search engine. Oh, and of course to liberate the creativity of the internet, which it most assuredly did. In fact, it became a whole... It became a whole meme. And you know what? Frankly, the 9/11 ones, these are some of the gentler generations I've seen around. I mean, these are mostly just funny because this is a rather old tragedy at this point, but some of the other ones, well, let's just say that the recent terrorist activity in Israel has received more than its fair share of big attention as well. Anywho, so let's just get the obvious out of the way, alright? Don't let the internet get away with anything. Jesus Christ, are you mad? Remember, the good old days of naivete, of corporate naivete. Dub the do, when Mountain Dew thought it would be a brilliant goddamn idea to let the internet name one of their drinks, where the top voted one was Hitler did nothing wrong. Apropos certain terrorist attacks in the Middle East. It was a bad idea then, and it, weirdly enough, is a bad idea now. A decade or so of hardcore censorship has not helped. Gushing granny. Fapple. Diabetes. Oh god, I miss the old school internet when, you know, shit like this, they even got away with it for a little while. Like, I did fairly quickly, but the good old days, they were beautiful, were they not? But yes, so Microsoft did this, not really considering the consequences, obviously, as the DALL-E, well, see, people have created quite a lot of AI image generators now. A fair few, like there's a couple dozen of them, and most of them realize that there's a handful of hurdles you've kind of got to deal with. For example, if somebody enters in a art style like Disney or Pixar, you're probably going to have to block that, because these are, if not copyrightable or trademarkable, they're very, very, very recognizable. And if somebody were to, you know, slap a logo on it, it could potentially lead to some legal problems. And if people were to, I don't know, put Mickey Mouse in the cockpit heading towards the World Trade Center, there might be some infringements going about there. What am I up to? This is one of those funny things about modern-day legal corporate nonsense, because Disney had apparently no comment on this whole affair. See, if a normal person had done this, they would be sued into oblivion, but since it's Microsoft, well, that's giga-corporation on giga-corporation action, and neither side really wants any part of that. You see, copyright, largely speaking, is intended to keep you out of playing through things, not the other corporations, of course, and that's where we come back to the AI thing, because obviously Microsoft didn't really think this one through here and simply dumped it down on the market, and people were mildly shocked and surprised actually with how permissive it was in copying other people's art styles and their IPs, which led to aforementioned tomfoolery. And again, these were probably some of the more gentle memes that the internet made out of all of this. Microsoft quickly realized their error and is currently trying to brick the AI as swiftly as humanly possible. See, Here's the problem though. The moment you start doing this, you start messing with the AI. Now, simply barring it from doing certain things is relatively easy to do, because if you're telling it, don't make this character and don't make that character, these are exceptions you can add fairly easily to a system. Like, if it looks like Mickey Mouse, you don't get to add it. Or if you enter in a famous person's name, like, Jennifer Aniston or Emma Watson or whatever, then it comes out with their face all like messed up so as to be like, oh no, we're not infringing on your visage or your personal likeness or anything like that. Okay, fair enough. Microsoft didn't do that, and when you start to really mess with the AI, like for example changing the definition of words, well, you end up in the same situation that Amazon was in. I covered that one a while ago, where Amazon managed to absolutely brick their own AI to the point of irreversible failure because they attempted to teach it what diversity meant. The modern day definition of diversity, of course. Which the computer brain, well, it literally couldn't handle because it was too stupid. Like, wait, hold on. This doesn't make any sense. What? You're telling me 2 + 2 = 7? Like, you are literally killing my little robot brain, and so they did. But this is, unironically, going to require a complete rework of the legal framework surrounding copyright. AI is, that is. It absolutely is. Either we are going to need special purpose-built AIs that can only draw upon very, 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 very specific and certain databases. The recent example of Galactic Civilizations, for example. They've actually made a civ builder inside of the game that uses an AI to generate an image for you to represent your civilization. But this AI only draws upon their own images. This is, in essence, what you're going to have to do if you want truly legal generative AI, as we haven't seen any truly emphatical legal challenges just yet, but with, pictures of Mickey Mouse flying planes into the World Trade Center, it is only a question of time, really. Not to mention whenever some celebrity wakes up and goes, there is a tremendous quantity of fake pornography of me on the internet, and it's somehow messing with my image. True, really. Especially, of course, considering that the technology is only going to get better, a lot better, to the point that in a decade or so, probably, maybe even earlier, we are going to be in a situation where it will be damn near impossible to tell fake footage from real footage, which will have pretty devastating legal consequences all around. We are going to have to build an entirely new legal framework for this. When it comes to copyright, when it comes to fair use, can't help you. Because of course, fair use is defined in large part by whether it's transformative, right? And whether or not it can serve as a replacement for the original. Now, nobody in their sane mind would look at this and go like, oh yes, official Disney product. It could probably not be mistaken for a Disney product, and it probably could also not be used as a, replacement for a Disney product. And it certainly is transformative, and yet I doubt Disney would consider this to be entirely good sport. I don't know why. I just get this weird feeling sometimes, And yet, legalistically speaking, it might actually fulfill a lot of the qualifiers. All due likelihood, the future is going to be something along the lines of Star Dock's Galactic Civilizations, where AI will need to create their own databases of images, and they are only allowed to draw upon these images specifically, or they have some sort of advanced algorithm that allows them to generate images by themselves, potentially. As stuff like this is, even megacorporations are not going to be allowed to get away with this, if nothing else for good old-fashioned PR purposes. As Microsoft, well, that is about as gigacorporation as it gets. And even they, in their infinite retardation, electing to put this out completely uncensored without having checked it first, were pretty damn swift to look at the result and go, that's a tremendous number of lawsuits just waiting to happen right there. And roll it on right back again. Still, it provided the internet with a moment of amusement, so thanks, Microsoft. And we'll see whether or not Bing AI survives the lobotomization that is currently coming its way. I very much so doubt it, as more often than not, these toys are really fun so long as you actually get to use them to the full potential of the toy, and then Daddy gets in the room and starts smashing it with a sledgehammer until only the vaguest shadow of the toy you once enjoyed remains. Rest in peace, being a mid-generation. You were fun. As long as you lasted.